Rico Verhoeven. In case you don't follow kickboxing or you don't really know, let me just give you a brief synopsis of this guy. He is the kickboxing GOAT, and he has been undefeated for the past decade, and recently, a few weeks ago, he has vacated his belt. And he's 36 years old. And he's heavyweight. Gee, where's he going to go? Is he going to go the boxing route? Possibly. There's more money to be made in boxing. And I hope Turkey Al-Sheikh isn't looking at him with some dollar signs, because then he won't be able to get to use his kicks. No leg kicks in boxing. No head kicks, no teeps, none of that. Your feet are useless. You just have to use your fists. Rico's most deadliest weapons, being his legs, are null and void. But if he comes to the UFC, oh my God. I think he beats a lot of guys at heavyweight in the UFC. I'm not buying into this propaganda of like, oh, he's just going to get taken down and laid on top of. Hold on now. Have we not learned this lesson with Adesanya and Pereira? And now recently Yusri Belguri, who lost to both Adesanya and Pereira and just beat up Azamat Bikoyev, who I consider to be quite decent actually. Azamat Bikoyev, everybody was picking him for that fight, myself included. Everybody's saying that he's going to take down Belguri and just dominate and beat the shit out of him. Belguri stands back up and picks him apart. These long, tall kickboxers are good. Rico Verhoeven is better than Pereira at kickboxing. He's been undefeated for the past decade. When Pereira came into the UFC, he just lost to Artem Vadikov, who, funny enough, Rico just beat in his last fight. But Artem Vadikov is very undersized for a heavyweight. He's a light heavyweight, but that's a different conversation. And Artem Vadikov also fought in the Contender Series, but it went nowhere because the UFC is stingy with their money. But they can't be stingy with a guy like Rico. They have to give him a big, fat, juicy contract. And I think they would, but I'm scared that it wouldn't be enough for a guy like Rico. With the amount of success and fame that I should say fame in quotes, because he's got fame for kickboxing, but a lot of the casuals, they might have heard of his name, but they don't really know or watch his fights. If he comes into the UFC, I think they do a faster build-up than what they did with Pereira when he came into the UFC. With Pereira, his first fight was Andreas Michailidis, who was a useless bum. Bruno Silva, who doesn't even want to fight. Bruno Silva doesn't even want to be in the octagon. Okay? And Bruno Silva survived. And then they were like, okay, well, this guy, we can't waste him. We want him to fight Adesanya because there's a story there. There's money to be made. People would love to watch that fight. So we're going to put him up against Sean Strickland, who was number 4 at the time. Knocks out Sean Strickland. He gets a title shot. For a guy like Rico, just book him up against somebody in the top 5 that doesn't pose a grappling threat. Okay, Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, Volkov, Sergey, and Curtis Blades. Who of these 5 would I like to see Rico versus? Alexander Volkov. Dude, they did Rizvan Kuniev versus Curtis Blades. Just like that, like nothing. Rico doesn't need to fight any of these bums at the bottom. Okay? He doesn't need to build himself up. He doesn't need to fight, a Mick Parkin just so that he can get ranked. No, just put him up against Volkov. Who's Volkov going to fight now? Volkov's beat up a lot of these guys at the top. Just survived against Almeida. They already did 2 Blades fights. Beat up Pavlovich. Fought Cyril Gane twice. Beat him the second time, but he gets robbed. Fought Lewis. Did he fight Spivak? I think he did. I can't remember. He has had so many fights in the UFC. There's really nobody left for him. And Volkov would take that fight, by the way. Yeah, it's a high-risk fight, but they'd be paying him good. And Volkov also has a background in kickboxing himself. Tall guy. That'll be the perfect introduction for all the UFC fans, the casual MMA fans, on who Rico Verhoeven actually is. If you've seen his leg kicks, oh, dude. Imagine taking a Rico leg kick, a calf kick. You thought Pereira's calf kicks were bad? Rico sweeps you off your feet and makes you fly on your ass. Cyril Gane, like if Cyril Gane were to fight Rico, Cyril Gane's entire training camp would have to be him just practicing timing the double legs. Curtis Blades got a background in wrestling, but he doesn't really use it. Every time he has a chance to use his wrestling, he gets brutally knocked the fuck out by a scary power puncher. Tom Aspinall probably would beat Rico, but I mean, they're buddies. That fight's not going to happen anytime soon, if it even does. Jelton Almeida and like the grapplers, that I'm not worried about them. Like if they signed Rico in, because you know the matchmakers are not going to do that. So I'm not worried about them in the slightest. Sergey Spivak, I'm not worried about him. It's got to be Volkov. It's perfect. Rico is a free agent right now. They need to get him in the UFC. You got this $7.7 billion from the Paramount deal. It's time to spend some of that cheddar, Dana. Hunter, McMaynard, if you're fucking watching this video, because I know you are. I've got such a big channel. Spend some of that cheddar. Get Rico in the UFC before Turkey gets to him. Before Turkey Al-Sheikh gets his fucking hairy ass hands all over that beautiful Dutch Giga Chad. No homo, but goddamn, that dude looks fucking good. Like, if I was a woman, I would... Okay, that's kind of gay when you think about it that way, but dude looks like a fucking male model. I think he was like a male model at some point. Literal Giga Chad, an Uber Chad. He looks like the peak white male, a 6'5" super soldier. We all wish every white man looked like Rico Verhoeven. They need to get him in the UFC. Dude, because of his looks, he might get the women audience. There'll probably be more women that are going to be watching the UFC. A lot of gay dudes watching the UFC. So they get that target audience, that target market in. More customers, Dana. More paying customers. Women aren't really usually the type to, you know, go to pirate and stream and stuff. They probably pay the membership for Paramount Plus. Think about it, Dana. You get the women audience on board. Or like imagine the big one. Pereira versus Verhoeven at heavyweight. Oh my God. Now that would be a fight. That would be the big one. No, okay, not the big one. Like, when we're thinking about the super big super fights, we've had all of these super fights go by that just slip through the cracks in the years. Ngannou versus the Black Demon who shall not be named. Ngannou versus Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall versus the Demon. Like, all these heavyweight super fights that slipped by us. This would be one of them. This would get the entire kickboxing fan base to watch in and tune in. A lot of the hardcore people would obviously be watching it. I think it would be a classic fight. But would Rico be too much and too big for Pereira at heavyweight? That's the question. I don't really think so. I think Pereira could knock out Rico. I think it would be a very competitive fight. But I don't know how they would do that fight when Aspinall still has the belt. They have to do that fight for a belt. They wouldn't just do it like as a regular contender versus contender at heavyweight. Because that's a main event fight. And I don't know how they would get past that. So if Cyril Gane beats Tom Aspinall in the rematch, and somehow Pereira comes in and just beats Cyril Gane and he's the champion, and at that point Rico maybe beats a guy like Volkov, that's perfect. That's the roadmap. Can we manifest that into existence? Because I would love it. I really would love it. And I mean, like, they have to get him in. There's nothing left for him at Glory. He's run out of opponents. He's beaten everybody. He's done it all for 10 years undefeated. They had to get up a light heavyweight who's very undersized, who's like a 6'1" little skinny fat dude, just so he gets beat up for 5 rounds. Nah, man. It's time to go into the UFC. And there's a lot of guys he beats. But those are just my thoughts on it. That's all I got for this video. Subscribe to my channel, motherfuckers, if you want to see Rico Verhoeven in the UFC, as I do. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.